Hello, this is Emily with the TC3 Game Design Club, here bringing you a new ActionScript 3.0 game development tutorial series. That sure is a mouthful. So this will basically assume that you have next to no experience in Flash or coding, and I will take you from having nothing to having a fully developed, nice, well, pretty decent looking game. It'll be a simple 2D game. I don't really have an example to show you, but you know, enough talking. Let's get straight to work. Open up Flash. I have CS6. As long as you're using ActionScript 3.0, I don't think it really matters. Okay, we're going to say create new ActionScript 3.0. So here we are in our new document. Now first things first, you're going to want to go over here to the Properties tab, go down to Size, and change it to whatever the heck you like. I'm using 800 by 600. However, the way this tutorial will go, you can make it whatever you want. Control-Enter will render, and you can preview your Flash movie. So this just gives you an idea of what 800 by 600 is. If you want it bigger, smaller, whatever, go ahead and, play around, see what you like. Once you have what you like, you're going to want to hit Control-S to save. And you're going to want to save it somewhere where you'll remember where it is. I have a specific folder called Polygonal Strike, because that is my name for this game. And I'm just going to call it Polygonal Strike 0. And I usually put a version number. That way, if you have something that you like and then you mess around with it and you really mess it up, you can revert to something you had previously. So we're going to save. Alright, so first we're going to make a player, because making a player, every game has a player, something that you're controlling. First off, you're going to go up here into the library panel. Just click there. As you can see, our library is empty. So we're going to go down here to this icon. They call it a page peel icon. It says new symbol. Just click on it once and we get the create new symbol dialog box. For our name, we are going to call this player object. And now we're going to keep it a movie clip, because you can do pretty much anything with a movie clip. They're very flexible. Down here, you're going to want to click export for ActionScript and come down to the class name. I usually keep my class name the same as the object name, only with lowercase. So the actual library object name, I use capitals. The class name, I use lowercases. You can do whatever makes the most sense to you. You just have to be consistent so you don't get messed up or anything. Then hit OK. You'll get a dialog box saying that the class path doesn't exist, so it'll create one when you export. That's great. That is great, Flash. That is exactly what I want you to do. Okay, so now we are in, for those of you new to Flash, we are editing a symbol. If you look over here in the library, you can see that we have player object selected. Up above, we have a preview of it, and over here we have where we're editing the symbol. If you click back up here in scene 1, so you can see this is where our main game is. Down here is the main timeline for that. And then if we, once again, go back to our library and double-click Player Object, we are now editing Player Object, Player Object's main stage, and the main timeline for Player Object. We're not really going to get into timelines or anything like that in this tutorial. We're just going to make a shape and put it on the screen, basically. So go over here to your rectangle tool, click there. We're going to make a rectangle. Actually, no, we're going to make a square. So if you click, hold Shift, and then drag out, and then, of course, release, you'll make a square. Shift is a shortcut to, make whatever you're doing even. So, right with a rectangle, hold Shift, and you will get a square. Or with a circle, or the ellipse tool, hold Shift, and you'll get a perfect circle. Now we're going to hit V, which is the selection tool. So we're going to select our rectangle. Now this is pretty important. We're going to go over here to Properties, click there, and we're going to modify the position and size. So first for our width, we're going to say 80. I mean, you can make this different if you want. for the purpose of this tutorial, you should be able to make whatever sizes you want, but if you want to follow along, 80 by 80. Now the X, that is also important. We're going to say -40 and -40. Now, the reason we set up all of that very precisely, I'm going to hit Z to zoom in. You don't have to do this, I'm just showing you. Is so that we have it positioned so that the anchor point is in the center. What that means is that when we reference this object, Flash is going to reference it based on where the anchor point is. That is basically the origin of the of the shape. It's 0, 0. Over here would be like, 40, 0. Up here would be 0, 40, and so on and so forth. That is just so that we don't have to keep doing any weird math or anything, so that we can do very simple math for positioning and collisions and whatnot. Last but not least, I'm actually going to select this again. Go over here to fill in stroke. I'm going to bump up the stroke a little bit because I kind of like it having a thicker stroke. You can do whatever you want. You can also change the colors if you want. So you can change the colors, fill in stroke, just click there, choose the color. I'm going to keep it as is. Okay, so we're going to go back to our scene 1. Oh, make sure you save every now and then. That's Control S once again. Now go down here to your layer and rename it. Rename it by double clicking. Rename it ActionScript. Hit Enter to save it as that. Now that's not necessarily 100% necessary, but it just helps to keep us organized. So now you're going to hit either F9, or you can go up into the window and click on Actions. That brings up the Actions editor. If you have experience in coding and want to use something like Notepad++, whatever else you might have, you can go ahead and do that and import it to Flash. I will not be covering how to do that. But if you have enough experience, you can probably figure that out pretty simply. For those of you that are pretty new to this, we are just going to use the in-program editor. And I'll go slowly for you guys who are new to coding, but I'll try not to go too slowly. Okay, so first we are going to make a variable, var. Now we are going to name our variable, damn it, Steam messes me up, player. So we're telling Flash variable. This variable is called player. Now hit colon, and we are going to, let me show you back in the library, I named it player object and ActionScript linkage, so that's what we're going to call it here. Player object. And now equals new player object. Semicolon. So what this does, we are declaring the variable, we are calling it player. Player is going to be a player object. And we are, by saying equals, we are defining player object as a new player object. Seems kind of redundant, but that's how Flash likes it. And hey, I mean, it's pretty intuitive, pretty simple to see. Now we are going to set the X and Y values for player. Player.x equals, we'll say 100 for now. And player.y, we'll set that equal to 100 as well. So, whoops. So we are saying, whoops, not 7. Player.y. So player.x, by saying dot, we are accessing basically a property within this this variable or whatever we're accessing here. X is already a built-in variable to it, and we are just accessing it by saying dot. Same with the y. And X and Y, for those of you not aware, those are the coordinates on the map, stage, and we're setting them to 100 and 100. Finally, we need to actually add this object to the stage. So add child, parenthesis, player. That's basically saying we have our variable player. The game knows what player is. The game knows where player goes. Now we actually have to put player on the stage. Add child player. So hit Control S once you have that typed in, and hit Control, oops, not space enter, Control enter. And you get the player object placed at 100, 100. Now, we are going to, instead of putting it at 100, 100, we're going to put it at the middle of the stage and at the very bottom. So to do that, we're going to say player.x equals stage.stage width over 2. That will place it halfway across the stage, because we'll take the total width of the stage and divide it by 2, and that is where player x is. That's where the player's x is going to be. Why? We're going to do something similar, but not exactly. Open parenthesis. Let's see here. I always get this one messed up the first time. Stage height minus, yes, it is going to be minus player height over 2. So let me just show you what that does, and I'll explain how that works. So as you can see, our player is now placed exactly in the middle of the screen and at the very bottom of the screen. And this will work no matter what size stage or what size player you have, because we used variables instead of, we all used variables in a ratio instead of a straight up value. So what this Y1 does, it is taking the height of the stage. So in my case, that is 600, I believe. I'm just trying to show it over there. I don't know why the pen tool came up like that. Yep, 600. So it's taking the stage height, which is 600, minus the player height over 2, which will be 40. And that is because if we just put player height here, let's take a look here. If we put player height, that is actually going to put our player twice above it. And that is because the anchor point is in the center. Now, if we had our anchor point in the top left, we'd actually have to really muck around with that code up there. However, we know that, look, it's twice up because we only want half of the anchor point above the line, not the full length of the anchor point. So we're going to hit over 2. There we go. It's very simple. This uses just very simple coding, very simple algebra to figure out where the player is being placed in the beginning. And that's it for this tutorial. I hope you liked it. There will be more coming soon. Our next tutorial will cover basic movement and jumping. Really simple stuff. You'll be able to understand it if you've even if you've never coded before, or if ActionScript is completely new to you. So yeah, I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoy. Leave questions or comments below, and